Hi, friends and colleagues. Good evening, and thank you to Semi Israel for giving me this opportunity to give this talk. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, I cannot be in front of you live, so we'll make do with this videotaped presentation. But hopefully, at least I can participate through the live question and answer session at the end of the talks. So, growth opportunities in the new renaissance of semiconductor industry. Let's start with where we are right now as far as the semiconductor industry stands. As you can see, we are 400 million plus strong industry, very mature, highly segmented. If you look at the companies that dominate our industry here in the blue, Intel's and NVIDIA's and ARM are the leaders in the instruction set architectures or the sort of computer architecture. Qualcomm and Broadcom, wireless and wired internet or interconnect. TI and XP, more analog companies. Then there are memory companies and there are foundries. If you look at the top 10 companies, these are the names you will see there. And if you look at it, they are very segmented. They are all leaders in their own segment and not necessarily compete with a much broader set of semiconductor companies. So, from that point of view, we can say the semiconductor industry is of the past. The best years are behind us. That is not so, in my opinion, mainly because it has very high efficacy for many, many industries. In fact, you can say for the entire world economy, semiconductor is going to be very, very important. Let's see how we got here first before we go to where we are going to go in the future. So, if you look at before even the industry really took off in late 70s and early 80s, the basic ingredients, the memory, the CPU, all those sort of products were already introduced to the market. Companies like Microsoft and Apple even took advantage of that in 70s. By 80s, you had companies that were helping our industry grow in its own accord, like the tools companies started. The instruction set architecture innovations were happening. There were workstation companies, and then there were also more broader commercial use system companies or the sort of computer sort of companies. And at the heels of that came the networking company like Cisco. TSMC started with a great faith in merchant foundry, and the EDA matured to having Synopsys and Cadence uh, um, take the dominating role on the EDA space. And at the same time, you had IP companies like ARM, Qualcomm, and Rambus. So, what we see right now, the very mature industry, is essentially the pioneering and visionary work that was done in 70s and 80s. Let's see where we are going in the future. But before we do that, if you really think about it, the technologies have propelled our societies from early days of hunter gatherers to now information age and beyond. And when this is happening, the boundaries are fading and the world is changing. We are always in the go. We are in some sort of transition. And you all must have heard that in this transitioning world, data is the new oil. And I would like to add to that semiconductor devices is going to be the steel of the 21st century. It will be as the skeleton is in our body, semiconductor devices will be everywhere in all walks of our lives, whatever gadgets we use. Little bit of an introduction to HCL, and this will help how we zone in to the semiconductor industry. We are very much used to thinking of the companies as either services companies and product companies. But the software world has shown to us that it is a lot more beyond services and products. There are solutions and platforms. And today I'm part of a large conglomerate, HCL Technologies, which plays in a very large scale in business services, engineering services, as well as product and platform. I'm new to HCL, but when I look at it, it's mind boggling how a services company, and that to an IT services company from India, can generate $10 billion of revenue per year at a very healthy margins. And the important takeaway from here is that as a product company, uh, we also have to give importance to the ease of integration of whatever products we are bringing to the market, um, how easily we can integrate it into the existing ecosystems. I've heard people say that sometimes it is even more important than the product itself. For us, what this means is that there is going to be a variety explosion, and that is the opportunity for semiconductor startups as well as the large companies. We have all seen a lot of different charts which talks about internet of things and many other devices, wearables, smart TVs, tablets will take over. But the important thing for me to note here is that internet of things is also a bunch of things. It is not one large volume market like smartphones or personal computers. So what we are looking at in the future is billions of devices, all or many autonomous, and all of them interconnected. And these will be serving markets that are being driven by artificial intelligence, and will be in all walks of our lives, from industrial, automotive, like the heavy industries, to home automation and medical, very, very sort of personal to each one of us. If this is the world and this is where we want to bring semiconductor, uh, giving intelligence and um, smart processing of information or data, then what semiconductor industry will have to do, it will have to transition from the very mature industry with very few large companies driving the future growth. What we will have to do is first look at how we have come here. We have come here due to technology driven volume game. The volume of the PCs and the volume of the smartphones has really shaped our industry in the past. But as we go forward, it will be an application driven variety game. So it is a very different ball game than what we have been used to in the last 4 decades. Let's see one way, how what we will have to offer to the world is going to change. Instead of having products that are used in very large volumes, we will have to offer to the world lot more customized hardware, and it will have to be produced at a much faster pace, and it will have to come in at a very low price points. Today, if you look at, it costs NRE of more than $100 million to bring an impactful product in the market. And even if you amortize it over its life, That means the chips can cost hundreds or thousands of dollars. If we make incremental improvements, then we will bring smaller advantages, but it will be harder and harder to bring these incremental advantages, which will be smaller, and unfortunately, they'll come at a larger cost. So, what we have to look at altogether is new radical approaches to design, and that will not only use the very advanced nodes where the costs are very high, but all technology nodes. So, how we all, semiconductor design community members, look at things very differently going forward. And if we do that, if we think in that way, then I believe we will have opportunities that each one of us can try to exploit and capitalize on going forward. So just imagine, like in software, there are platforms and solutions and stacks and words like that. In semiconductor industry, also, I think we'll have to get used to that sort of vision for the future. And from that point of view, if you really think of it as the world, the organized world, as a huge stack of interdependent platforms, then for our world, semiconductor um, content, application platforms would be the ones that we will be catering to. And to these application platforms, the way we will serve is by offering variety of application specific SOCs, so systems on chips, but application specific, not vanilla SOC that will strive to get the largest volume, but ASOCs which will try to give the best customer experience to however small that customer base may be. How will you build these ASOCs? You will build them in a robust ecosystem if you have various choices for your components, the blocks that you will pick from, and integrate it as fast as you can. And these IPs should ideally be available in any node that you might choose. You may choose a node and a foundry for geopolitical reasons, for economical reasons, for many other reasons. But if you do not have these blocks that are essential for you to build the chip that you want, then it does become a lot more costly and time consuming to get the products that you want. And if you really think about it, this entire segment from spec to GDS2 is very people intensive. And if we really want to unlock the supply of ASOCs, then we will have to think about how we are creating platforms, not only creating variety of ASOCs and variety of IPs in various nodes, but also doing innovation in automation and correctness of design. We have come long ways, but I think there is room for innovation in tools that we use to do the semiconductor design. And on the other hand, we may even have to innovate new business models. We'll have to go from services and product mindset where products are more lot more important than services to the world where services, products, solutions, platforms, all those coexist in a healthy ecosystem. HCL will be there to enable your semiconductor strategy in navigating this exciting and very different future for the semiconductor industry. Our vision of semiconductor segment of all that we do, which is to provide services and solutions in not only hardware but software and even industrial mechanical type of engineering. But for semiconductor, the way we see is that companies will focus on systems and products. That is the left top corner. Other companies will focus on tools. Manufacturing has already become pretty robust and highly defined segment. And I think the fourth corner that is emerging is the contract design, and that's where HCL is hoping to play larger and larger role. Today, we are serving the semiconductor industry as one of the largest services company, and our goal is to be one of the best people company for cost and quality conscious customers for their semiconductor needs, whether they are building it themselves or they are getting it built by somebody else. We already have competencies in all the various areas that you need to build a chip. These are all the traditional services that I'm sure most of you already know. And where we are marching ahead from this base is that we want to provide you IP as services. So if you're building your own IP, if you're an IP vendor, maybe we can support your IP. Maybe we can port your IP. But if you are going to buy an IP and if it is already available in the ecosystem, great. But if it is not available in the node of your choice, or it is not actually customized for you, then we'll be happy to give you exactly the IP that you need. And in the same way, there are ASIC companies, or you yourselves may be striving to be an ASIC company, and we would uh, be happy to bridge your gaps in your ASIC strategy. But again, our focus will be services and solutions. And fortunately, with all our vast experience in software and firmware and system level support that we have been already giving to many hundreds of sort of companies in the world, if some of you are systems companies, and this can be even fabs, or this can be semiconductor equipment segment, or it could be one or two levels up in our stack that we serve, whether it's a software product company or an integrated solution company, we will be happy to do services, but at systems level as well. So, in essence, if your focus is on the semiconductor space and if you are going to bring products out, then you can look at us as a chip design factory, which can do each phase of the chip design, but as well as can take, if needed, the silicon from concepts to proven tested silicon. So we are very focused on semiconductor design space, but we are very well supported with the broader context work that we need to do, whether it is in hardware systems, firmware, or even bigger, larger context in which HCL operates. So, whatever we do for you, whether it is getting your product out or getting your product integrated in the system, whether it is to develop such a product or whether it is to support during its life cycle, we are ready to be your partner, and we would look forward to work with you and bring this new future together for a better world. Thank you very much, and look forward to some very interesting questions at the end of the first session. Thank you. Bye.